say a dog is a man's best friend, but what if there is something to try and get in the way of that? A parasite whose main goal is to get into your furry friend's heart only to make them weaker and attack them from the inside out. That parasite is a worm called heartworm. Today we will be going over everything heartworm. First we will discuss what exactly heartworm is. Next we will go over the life stage from beginning to end. Then we will talk about detections and preventions. Most of the information that I'm going to share with you today is from the Food and Drug Administration, Texas A&M Heartworm Basics, and the Basics of Heartworms for Pet Owners and Resources. First, we will discuss what heartworm is. Heartworm is a parasite which affects the dog's lungs, causing severe lung disease, and the heart, such as causing heart failure. Heartworm lives inside mosquitoes for a short amount of time until it is transferred to a dog where it lives inside the dog's heart and lungs for the entirety of its lifespan. Stray dogs and wild animals can be carriers, as well as if an abundant amount of infected animals move to an uninfected environment, which is what happened in Hurricane Katrina. Next, we will go over the stages of heartworm. It begins with an infected dog whose adult female heartworm releases the egg, also known as microfilaria. After 2 weeks, when the mosquito bites the dog, it carries the microfilaria to another dog. It takes about 6 months for the heartworm larva to mature into an adult, and the adult heartworm can get to be up to a foot long, and this is living inside your pet's lungs and heart. After the heartworm and the larvae mature, the adult heartworm can live for 5 to 7 years in dogs. And the 5 to 7 years, it slowly attacks your dog's respiratory system, making it harder for them to breathe. Detections and preventions. So detections, when you take your dog into a veterinary clinic, you can get a heartworm test. There are 4 different kinds of tests that they can do, such as a snap test, which tests for regular heartworm. There is also a microfilaria test, which takes a drop of blood, and the technicians actually put it under a microscope slide and look for the microfilaria. There is also a witness test, which is typically cheaper than a snap test, and it's testing for the same things. And there is also a 4DX, which tests for heartworm as well as Lyme disease. There is also a prevention, and it is a year-round heartworm preventative, which is highly recommended. Missing a dose can be an open spot for a mosquito to come in and affect your pet. That is called HeartGuard, and there are many other preventatives, but that is the main one that veterinarians try and get their pet on. And the signs. So it can vary upon how much heartworm is actually present in the body. If there is more, then it can kill your pet faster and it can cause heart failure, whereas the lesser amounts can cause coughs and lethargy, which is to make them more tired than they usually are. Now that we have discussed everything heartworm, I would like to go over what we discussed. First, we talked about what heartworm is, which is a parasite. Next, we talked about the stages of heartworm, where we went from being inside the mosquito to a larvae and maturing into an adult, which lives inside your pet for 5 to 7 years. Then we discussed the preventions and detections, the snap tests, the microfilaria test, the 4DX test, and the witness test. And preventions, which was the HeartGuard or any other preventative that your local veterinary hospital has. Now that we've discussed everything heartworm and its deadly effects, take your lovely pet to a veterinary hospital to get it tested for heartworm. And if you're not on a prevention, think about the mosquitoes that are going around and might bite your pet and slowly eat them from the inside out. Thank you.